My dad had serious heart surgery this week. He's 83, and the surgery was a little risky. But the surgeon did a great job, and Dad came through it well. Now, I spent a lot of time in hospitals in the line of duty, but this is my dad. I spent 3 days in a hospital in Schenectady this week. Several heart surgeons spoke with my family. They were all smart and kind and helpful. They were also very clear and simple in their explanations, and that helped us a whole lot. So we thank them for their clear and simple explanations. And when I did that, one of the heart surgeons told a story. When he was a kid, he smashed his finger really badly, so his mom took him to a doctor. And after an x-ray, the doctor said, "He has a fracture." The mom said, "Thank God it's not broken." I laughed when I heard that. The doctor, all those years ago, laughed too, but what we don't know because we weren't there is that this mother was a Russian immigrant. She spoke great Yiddish, but she didn't speak very good English. Now, this boy's English was good, and he got angry. He did not like the way this doctor was treating his mom. He told the doctor that she would never make fun of him if his Yiddish was poor. And he told the doctor he really ought to explain things to non-medical people in ways they could understand. Broken instead of fracture. The boy's immigrant mother was appalled. Her son couldn't talk to a doctor like that. She told him to be respectful, and she shook her finger at him sternly. They got home, and the mother told the father, and he too rebuked his son for disrespecting this doctor, and he shook his finger at his son. But the son somehow could tell Dad was not entirely serious. And when Mom left the room, Dad grinned at his boy, gave him a thumbs up, and said, "Good job." This boy grew up to become a heart surgeon who explains things in a clear, simple, and kind way. From Luke's Gospel today, we have a simple, clear, and kind story. It's about Zacchaeus, the little guy. He's too short in the crowd to see Jesus, and he's an outcast. This is an ethically challenged, rich tax collector. But the point of this simple, clear, kind story is that Jesus cares for the little ones, the outsiders, and the underdogs. When I was a kid, I felt like Zacchaeus. I was little, very little for my age, and I always felt like a loser and an outcast. Then when I was 17, Jesus became a big part of my life, and I felt like Zacchaeus as I became one of the new friends of Jesus. Now, because of my background, I've always had a special place in my heart for the little ones and the outsiders and the underdogs. When I preach or teach, I want to be clear and simple and kind, like that heart doctor was this past week, or even like Jesus himself. And as I live, I want to have my heart open to the little ones and the outsiders and the outcasts. I want all church people to do the same. It is, after all, the Jesus way. Zacchaeus is still up a tree. There are people on the outside. There are people who feel left out and wounded and ignored. There are people who are made to feel little and unimportant. Zacchaeus is still up a tree. I want to be like Jesus. I want to stop and look and notice. I want you to be like Jesus. I want you to stop and look and notice. Zacchaeus is still up a tree. Who is up there? Who might we notice? Who might we invite in? Well, someone with a disability, or someone from a different ethnic group, or someone who's very ill, or someone who has been wounded by life. Zacchaeus is still up a tree. Jesus really didn't do that much. This is not a miracle story. He just noticed that little guy up in the tree. He looked at him, and he spoke to him, and he invited him. And then he ate with him. Maybe that is a miracle after all. On Wednesday, my dad was in the intensive care unit after the surgery. All had gone well at last. He was all settled in, and my mom was okay, and my younger brother, who lives right in the area, was there to care for both of them. So I was leaving the hospital late Wednesday afternoon to come home. It had been a long few days, and as I walked through that crowded hospital hallway, I let out a big sigh like this. Well, there was a young woman in medical scrubs not far from me, and she heard me sigh. And she said, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, I am. Thanks for asking. It's just been a long day." And she smiled, and I said, "I bet you see that all the time." And she said she did, and then she wished me well. Now, do you see what happened there? It wasn't a miracle story, or maybe it was. She noticed the little guy sitting up in a tree. She noticed something as small as a deep sigh. She noticed me. And I'll tell you, at that moment, that was light shining into my heart. Zacchaeus is still up a tree. I want to be like Jesus. I want to be like that heart doctor. I want to be like that young woman in the hospital hallway. I want to stop and look and notice. Zacchaeus is still up a tree. I want you to be like Jesus. I want you to be like that heart doctor. I want you to be like that young woman in the hospital hallway. I want you to stop and look and notice. You see, when we do that, miracles happen. Small miracles, little miracles, but miracles all the same. Heart miracles.